The sky is blue but peppered with grey clouds above the Nürburgring. For the SEAT Leon Eurocup, we've got 14 cars coming out to play, and I'd say track conditions just about perfect. Niels Langeveld leads the championship, the Dutch racer, but it's very, very close. Norway's Steen Poulsen is tight in behind, just 8 points down. Spain's Mikel Azcona not that far behind. He's only 16 points down on the championship leader. And Alex Morgan from Great Britain somewhat further back, but all four of them in with a tilt at the title. Front row of the grid is the driver who started the championship with pole and victory. It's Mikel Azcona for PCR Sport. Starting on the right-hand side of your screen, the car with the red stripes up its bonnet, Niels Langeveld. So two of the championship challengers right at the front. Championship leader closer to the pit wall. Nelson Lukes, great qualifying run from him, will be starting third ahead of Stan Van Oord, who's joined Poro Motorsport to come and play this weekend here at the Nürburgring. As you can see, the sky is cloudy. It's been in and out of cloud and sunshine today. Humidity rose ahead of the previous race, but right now conditions are set fair for a great race, and looking to see who can really make a challenge. But I suppose the story of qualifying is that Steen Poulsen, who's second in the championship, has qualified only 8th. Sorry, let's call that 7th. I beg your pardon, I couldn't do my maths. But he was 1.3 seconds off the ultimate pace, so it wasn't a dream qualifying session for Steen Poulsen. So we'll wait to see what he can do in the number 34 entry. So there is our pole sitter. You can see it's getting brighter. The sun has just come through the clouds. So that's Mikel Azcona. Great livery. I like those stripes that flanks the car. Give it a feeling of speed. Verity Audio is the sponsor. Mikel Azcona. He started the season really well with pole, fastest lap and victory in the opening race at Estoril. But he actually has only won one round since then, which was at Mugello. And then last time out, the Red Bull Ring, just last weekend, he picked up a couple of second places, and that's propelled him right back into the championship mix. But Niels Langeveld, starting alongside him, has been super consistent through the championship. He's picked out 4 wins so far, but peppered with less good results. 61, Mario Dablander, Austrian racer. That's a good the run from him. He was 4th and 8th last time up. Julien Brichet, he's taken victories too. He won last time. In fact, the second of the 2 races, the Red Bull Ring, his was victory and fastest lap, but he didn't race at Mugello, and that's really affected his championship chances. Brichet down in 5th place overall. Alexander Morgan, he's ranking 4th at the moment, so he's in the championship mix, but he's down in 5th position on the grid. Nice bright day-glow yellow stripes on the car. Fellow British racer Lucas Orrock will be starting alongside in one of 3 cars from Wolf Power Racing. 14 cars on the grid. Pole starter Mikel Azcona on the right-hand side of your screen. Now we're taking a look as we go back down the grid. That was Alexander Morgan. Steen Poulsen, gone past Steen Poulsen's car. I have to look out for that. That's number 34, starting on the inside of the 4th row. And we get up to the tail of the field, and that's Mari Baus-Koppens in 14th and final place. Joined on the back row. In fact, if you look to the left of the screen, Munkong Sathyanatharakul from Thailand on the competition car. The gap, fastest qualifier and the slowest qualifier, 3.6 seconds. So certainly a very, very strong lap from poleman Mikel Azcona. So they go on their final formation lap. Chance to get the heat in their tyres. Really the story of this race is, can Steen Poulsen keep his championship challenge going? We've got the 2 races here, and then the final, the start of November, first week in November in Spain, Circuit de Catalunya in Barcelona. So whatever happens this weekend, they've got a wait that will seem a long one, about 6 weeks, 7 weeks until that final round. Time to really focus on what went right here, and sadly for some of them, what went far from the way they wanted. So that was Alex Morgan, followed by Lucas Orrock going through. Steen Poulsen just tucked in behind. Facundo Della Motta, Lorenzo Berardave, Sebastian Scalera, Stan Van Oord, Nelson Lukes, and so on down the order. So there is the race starting order. Michael Ascona, Niels Langeveld, Mario Dablander, Julian Brichet. Watch out for Steen Poulsen, starting number 34, down in 7th place. He has to get a good result here, or he'll see his championship challenge starting to go away. Last 2 runners on the 14-car grid, Mungkong Sethian Thirukul from Thailand and Maribaus Coppens, French racer. Out the rear, so down the hill they snake. That's the Dunlop hairpin, and then back up the other way through the Michael Schumacher S's. Great gradient change here at the Nürburgring. Circuit opened in 1985 using some of the original circuit, the local part of the circuit for the Nürburgring, before the track cuts off through Hatzenbash, etc., out onto the full Nordschleife. We don't use the Nordschleife, we use this 15-turn, 5.137 kilometre circuit. It's been used here, as I say, since 1985, when it rejoined the championship for Formula One, and it's produced some great racing ever since. Sky brightening up by the minute as we wait for the drivers to come back round. They're coming down to the kink, the Ad Van Bogen, and they'll go up to the chicane. That was Steen Poulsen, we saw him. He's down in 7th. We'll have to keep an eye out on the New Zealand, the Norwegian. It wasn't a dream qualifying session for him. He's got 2 British drivers ahead of him, Lucas Oreck, Alexander Morgan there on the row ahead, and then he's got to try and get past Julian Brichet 4th on the grid, Mario Dablander in 3rd, and then that just leaves the front 2, Niels Langeveld, who's leading the championship, and Michael Ascona on pole position. Ascona at the moment 3rd in the championship. Poulsen 2nd, and Niels Langeveld is the championship leader. So round out of the final corner as slowly as they dare, but they will find their grid positions. 14 drivers have to place their cars perfectly on the appointed starting places. So remember, the red flashes up the bonnet belong to Niels Langeveld, starting from the outside of the front row. That's the side on the left of our screens. That's the side closer to the pit wall. The darker car, Mario Dablander, the grey car on the 2nd row from Wolf Power Racing. He's joined by Julian Brichet in number 3. Then another car from Wolf Power Racing, that's Alexander Morgan, and another one, Lucas Oreck. He started the championship with Zest Race Car Engineering, but now he's with Wolf Power Racing. Yellow car, yellowish looking car, that's the bright stripes that show that is Alex Morgan back in 5th place. For Michael Ascona, he started the season with victory. He's taken another at Mugello, but he'd really like to add another one now because he's fallen to 3rd in the championship. He's got to start scoring some big points if he fancies taking the trophies and the rewards at the end of the year. Final minutes waiting for the green flag to be waved at the back of the grid. First of 2 races here for the SEAT Leon Eurocup. Revs rise, waiting for the lights to go out, and out they go. Looks like a better start from Niels Langeveld, but he's being headed off very much. The pole starter, Michael Ascona, said, I want the inside line down into turn 1. What that's allowing is Mario Dablander to take the outside line. Will it profit him? Very tight indeed. You could see a challenge from Alex Morgan with the green flashes on his car, the green and yellow. He seems to move up to 5th place, but for Ascona, he's taken the lead. Oh, someone being pushed out very wide there with a new livery on the side of his car. So Dablander up into 2nd place. Alex Morgan now challenging him. He's on the right side for one corner, but not for turn 4. He goes out wide, and very wide indeed. Niels Langeveld tucking in behind, but all along Ascona has had a dream opening sector of the lap. He's got clear while there's been contact behind, and certainly that was Niels Langeveld being pushed out wide. Dablander in 2nd place, Morgan in 3rd. Langeveld tucked in behind in 4th place, but the question is how many places have been gained by Steen Poulsen in number 34. We'll have to wait and see as they go down the hill, and look at that lead. It's about 2 seconds already for our pole starter Ascona. Very tight indeed. Dablander in 2nd place, but Alex Morgan getting right in the mix in number 5, the car with the greeny yellow stripes on the side, cutting the hairpin at the tail end of the field. We started with 14 cars, we still have 14 cars, but you need to swing wide to see our race leader, because Michael Ascona, this isn't the battle of the lead, this is the battle for 2nd place. Dablander, Morgan, Langeveld, Brich, Delamotte, Oreck. Oh, the answer is the person who got pushed wide was unfortunately Steen Poulsen. He had to make a challenge from 7th. He's down in 9th place. Don't forget, he is lying 2nd in the championship. For Niels Langeveld, he's got his hand full. full in that battle with Alex Morgan. Alex Morgan is now into second place. Dablander is being pushed wide. Langeveldt on the left of your screen, going past Dablander in the grey car. He's going to lose 2 places, and Julien Brichet tucked in right behind. So great start for Dablander from third on the grid, and he's going backwards. Alex Morgan, very feisty, has got himself up into second place. Now very, very tight behind. Dablander bouncing over the chicane, but so far clear. What is the lead going to be for Mikel Azcona? I reckon it's about 3 seconds by... He goes 1 abreast around the final corner. Everybody else is 2 or 3 abreast. So it's been a fantastic opening lap for Mikel Azcona, waiting for Alex Morgan to come past in second place. 4.3 seconds. Quite a lap there. Second place, third place Langeveldt, fourth place Brich, fifth Dablander. Don't forget he had been right up challenging for second place. And Steen Poulsen has made it back a few places. He dropped to 9th. He's up to 7th. He's got to get ahead of that, up to that group ahead of him, which is led by Alex Morgan in second place. No one at the moment seems to have any answers at all for Mikel Azcona. So put him on pole position, he can win a race. He's done that twice this season. The opening race at Estoril, and then the second of the 2 races at Mugello. Pole position leads to victory. But look at that. That could be like the end of a really good race. This is 1 1/4 laps into this race at the Nürburgring, and pulling ever further clear, running on his own, choosing the line he can take and sticking to it, Mikel Azcona, whereas Alex Morgan, being pushed very, very hard indeed by Niels Langeveldt, isn't so sure where he has to run, because Langeveldt is prepared to try at any corner he fancies. Oh, it looks like we've got someone off into the gravel and out of the gravel, I fear. Yes, at the far end. Number, just picking up if that's who that was who went for a little run. I'll see who's fallen down to the tail of the field, and I'll work it out for you shortly. I think, unfortunately, it was Mary Baus-Koppens, or was it? We'll find out shortly, I'll let you know. But what I can tell you is Niels Langeveldt is pushing Alex Morgan very hard in the battle for second place. Julien Brichet right on the tails, and look for the driver who's giving chase. That's Dablander, and right behind him he's got Poulsen as well. Steen Poulsen started the champion race in second place in the championship, and now he's diving so close to getting around Dablander. Dablander made that really strong start, qualified really well, but in terms of pace over the course of the season, you expect Steen Poulsen to get past him, and he has to, because Alex Morgan, Niels Langeveldt, there they are together, and right behind them they've got Julien Brichet, then Dablander, and that's the driver that Poulsen has to get past. He doesn't want that group to get any further ahead if he's got a chance of overhauling him. Up the inside, classic jink one way, go the other from Poulsen, so place gained. And deep in that's Facundo Della Motta, in fact, making that move. Sorry, Poulsen's tucked in behind him. Really is tucked in right behind him as they go out of the final corner. Dablander's about to lose not 2 but 3 more positions on this lap. Alex Morgan holding down second place, lost another second on the lap. It was 4.3, it's now 5.3 seconds. The gap between Azcona in the lead of the race and Alex Morgan in second. A little battle. Well, the battle behind is the one that's going to have the fireworks, I feel, because Brichet's comfortably in fourth, but then, well, there come the fireworks. Is it going to be contact with the tyre wall? There isn't at all, but I just feared that battle for 5th place and beyond was where the trouble was going to come. And it pretty much duly did just that, but Steen Poulsen is still in the reckoning. He's behind Facundo Della Motta. Sorry, I confused the cars the previous lap. 44-34. I can tell you they're running in 5th and 6th positions, both predominantly white. There is Della Motta. Right in behind is Steen Poulsen, who will be so desperate to get past. He wants to get after this gaggle, the fat gaggle who are fighting over second place, including our championship leader Niels Langeveldt, who is in 3rd place overall, still pushing Alex Morgan, but still the white car with the yellowy green flashes on it stays ahead. So our championship leader frustrated because he knows that all along in this time points are being gained, or his championship lead is being cut away by the driver leading the race, Mikel Azcona, almost as though he's out here on a sprint in a race of his own. Everybody else seems to have someone to play with, but the Spaniard leading the race from pole position. Don't forget, he had a lead of 4.3 seconds at the end of the opening lap, and he's pulling ever further clear. No problems at all for Alex Morgan. He's being challenged, but just a little bit of a breathing place. There is Azcona at the bottom of the picture. Then comes the battle for second place. Morgan, Langeveldt, tucked in behind, Julien Brichet. 3 nationalities, identical cars, different liveries. That is the beauty of the SEAT Leon Eurocup. And in the background, it's still Della Motta and Poulsen. And then tucked down behind is Mario Dablander, the Austrian racer, got as high as second. Oh, it's getting very tight behind. Julien Brichet, as they come up to the final corner, is really trying to unsettle Niels Langeveldt. Langeveldt doesn't want any risk. He's focused on the rear wing of Alex Morgan. I bet the gap, as they slow each other down by fighting each other, is now another second. It's a second a lap off that brilliant opening lap. 6.3 seconds is now the advantage enjoyed by our race leader. Langeveld looking quite serious about going up the inside of Morgan, but Morgan hasn't left an inside, so that gives a chance for the driver in fourth place to close in a bit more. He could take a wider line that should lead to a quicker run through turn 2, but Langeveld has placed himself in front of Brichet. Brichet, can he duck underneath? Well, he had a look, but he wasn't alongside enough to do so. Through the Mercedes arena, very, very tough place to overtake. A very good place to unsettle the driver ahead, but in fact, Julien Brichet unsettled himself more than unsettling Langeveld, and that gave a little bit of breathing space to Alex Morgan, who is trying to see if he can drop them. This might be his chance, and maybe if he can drop the challenge of Langeveld to Brichet, he can start doing something about Michel Ascona. But it's only a 12-lap race. We've got 4 laps. We're on the 4th of those 12 laps, so we'll be at third distance at the end of this tour. A lot of drivers kicking up the dust. It hasn't rained here at the Nürburgring for several days, and certainly if you go offline, it's very dry indeed. It is early autumn here in the Eiffel Forest. And yes, Alex Morgan, after that attack down into turn 2 by Julien Brichet, it has separated Langeveld. It's got Langeveld off his tail. Still Facundo Della Motta in 5th place, about 3 seconds behind them. Then Stian Poulsen can make no inroads. He's still stuck in 6th place. Don't forget, he started 7th, fell to 9th on the opening lap, has picked his way up the order, but can do nothing at all about Della Motta. And now there is a clear example as they go out of Bilstein and down the hill is the gap that has finally been gained by Alex Morgan in 2nd place. Looks, if anything, as though Niels Langeveld is now starting to drop the challenge from Julien Brichet. Then Facundo Della Motta, Stian Poulsen. Poulsen with the yellow wing mirrors, and then tucked in behind him. We've had a change of place on the last lap. We've had Lucas Oruk go up into 7th place, demoting Mario Dablander. 2nd, 3rd and 4th, close as you like. Will there be another second gain? No, it's actually come down. So on that lap, a second and a bit was gained off the race leader, off Mikel Ascona. So having got clear of that little battle for 2nd place, it looks like Alex Morgan is now starting to haul him in. And in fact, maybe as they're all, as I say, that Brichet gets up onto the tail of Langeveld. But running when you're not in a gaggle of cars does give you a chance to concentrate on your own lines, and certainly a far, far quicker lap last time around. Sorry, it was 0.3 of a second, but it's down to 6 seconds now, the gap between 1st and 2nd. Fastest lap of the race overall, still set on the 2nd tour by Mikel Ascona. Settled down, very, very similar pace to the chasing pack, but last time around Alex Morgan did take a chunk of time out of him. And again, you can see Morgan can pick his racing lines, while Langeveld has to choose his line much more carefully behind, because he's coming under constant attack from Julien Brichet. Then the battle behind, still you can see the 34 car of Stian Poulsen. He's desperate to get ahead of Facundo Della Motta. Facundo's down in 9th place in the championship, and Poulsen's in 2nd. He cannot afford to lose any more points by staying behind him, so he's got to see what he can do about Della Motta, the Argentinian racer, and he needs to do it soon. Langeveld cocking a wheel over the curb there, will have lost a tiny bit of momentum. Tucks down. Julien Brichet just doesn't seem to have any answers for him today, and Alex Morgan is just gradually pulling away from them. These Leon Eurocup racers can use the curbs with a lot of abandon. There is our race leader, Mikel Ascona. Hardly seen him since that amazing opening lap, which he gained more than 4 seconds. Alex Morgan still 2nd, Niels Langeveld 3rd, and Julien Brichet in 4th place. The JSB livery. Then you can see Facundo Della Motta, he's about 4 seconds off the back of this little grouping. Stian Poulsen still stuck there, no doubt getting very hot under the collar. He's going to come under attack any moment now from Lucas Oruk in car number 4. It's quite mesmerising watching a battle as close as this one for 2nd place, because you see people try. All the trying is coming from Julien Brichet in the 3rd car in that grouping, the white car. He's trying to unsettle Niels Langeveld. Langeveld getting a little bit closer now to Morgan. That's because Brichet wasn't close enough to challenge him. That's because Langeveld was able to choose his own lines. Under braking, of course, he closes right up on Morgan, but 2nd place Morgan will get the power down sooner and then opens it out again. The gap to our race leader, it's come down again, just under 6 seconds, 5.984 seconds. You can see it on the screen. So it's coming down, but not going to be fast enough. We're on the end of this lap will be the halfway point in the race. How much life has our race leader, Mikel Azcona, taken out of his tyres. I think he's going to be okay. Yes, a very good opening lap, but that was more a case of others really, really tripping over each other in the battle to be second behind him. Alex Morgan running a wider line as they start going down the hill. He can afford to do that. Niels Langeveld wasn't close enough to challenge him. And it does seem as though Julien Brichet doesn't have the answers. Maybe he's having a couple of slightly slower laps to just get a bit of life back into his tyres, or maybe he's taken too much out of them in the early laps of this race, but pushing very, very hard indeed. But at the moment, Langeveld looks quite well sorted. Well, as you'd expect, he is the championship leader, right on top of his cars. Julien Brichet has had wins. Alex Morgan this year has had podium positions. He was third in both of the last two races, and he's had a couple of three others, but he hasn't been higher than that on the podium, so he is potentially heading for his best result of the season. Cutting the corner in the background there in his quest to get a quick line through the Bilstein curve. Down in the distance you can see the race leader, Mikel Azcona, but might be getting marginally larger as he looks through the windscreen at him, but we're dealing in tenths of a second. But right now Morgan is able to pick his lines, attack when he fancies. Langeveld using plenty of curb, bouncing his way into and out of the chicane. Well, let's see what the stopwatch says. It was 5.984 seconds, a gap between first and second last time around. 5.028, that is a lot of time that's been taken out. 9/10 of a second. If it carries on at that rate, we will still have Azcona in the lead of this race on the final lap, but only just. So this could be brewing to a really, really tight finish. How much life did Azcona take out of his tyres? He's not got any back markers to contend with. He's able to pick his lines. Morgan has been able to pick his own lines for the last few laps, but certainly earlier in the race was fighting tooth and nail with Mario Dablander, with Niels Langeveld and Julien Brichet, keeping them both right on their toes. All seems to be fine for Azcona as he carries on down the hill, up to the crest of the hill, then down the other side. Alex Morgan, last time around that was Morgan's best lap of the race. That said, that was still 7/10 of a second slower than the outright best lap of the race set by our race leader. So clearly he did that on lap 2. He was really pushing very, very hard indeed. And for Morgan, who's definitely edging clear of Langeveld to Brichet, the two drivers you can see at the moment, he is now starting to really find his pace. Has Azcona gone too fast too soon? Certainly 4.3 seconds on the opening lap was a gift. But did he go on his very, very hard on his tyres when they were still not fully up to race temperature? All three drivers being a little bit more careful on their cornering lines. They're not using quite as much curb. Those behind still using every bit of curb they could possibly run their wheels over, just kicking out the dust on the inside of the corner there, sweeping through the S's. First sector of this lap, which is nearly a whole minute long, actually advantage to Azcona. 0.2 of a second faster he was in the opening sector of the race. Battle for second place. It looks to me as though Azcona has now got some form of equilibrium. It looks as though Langeveld was starting to close in again on Alex Morgan, but in turn Julien Brichet is catching him, which will help Morgan every time he can get onto his tail. Now the most desperate driver in the race, the one with the yellow wing mirrors, second in the championship, Steen Poulsen, stuck behind Facundo Della Motta, will be finding it very, very frustrated. Della Motta is actually teammate, not to Poulsen, but to Niels Langeveld, his championship rival. Not saying he's doing anything untoward, I'm just mentioning that people are peppered among the teams. And the advantage is slightly swung away from Morgan on that lap. It's still under 6 seconds, it's 5.3 seconds. But instead of continuing his chipping away at the lead of Mikel Azcona, he's lost a little bit of that advantage he was gaining last time around. Della Motta and Poulsen, you can see there's nothing between them out on the circuit over the last handful of laps. But what's becoming abundantly clear, unless Poulsen has got a lot more life left in his tyres and he hasn't been able to show it by being bottled behind the Argentinian racer, he's got no tricks to offer at the moment. So Lucas Oruch tucked in behind Mario Dablander in the grey car, running in 8th place. 9th and 10th, the lock up there from Della Motta. Nelson Lukes in 9th, and number 20, Lourenço Berão de Vey, Portuguese racer. Now, is this finally the move? I just said he didn't have any tricks up his sleeve, but he's on the wrong line. Poulsen on the wrong line as they go down to the Dunlop hairpin. nothing he can do it, but he's got to start trying things, and that certainly for the Norwegian racer was one of them. Tucks in again behind Della Motta as they exit the hairpin. Della Motta kicking up the dust. Lucas Oreck trying to hang on, maybe get close enough to take advantage if anything untoward occurs between these two runners. Cutting the corners as everyone does, coming up the hills through the S's. Now they rise up to the crest of the hill, to the Ravenol curve, and then very close indeed for Steen Poulsen. Having a little dab, little look up the inside. It wasn't a serious move, it was a chance to try and unsettle Della Motta. Oreck has gained by not swerving around in the background. He's getting closer and closer. So this is the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th positions. Mario Dablander now starting to fall off the tail of that grouping. There he is in the grey car at the top of the screen. Was with them a few laps ago, no longer with them. Battle for 2nd place in the foreground, the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th right in the background. Another battle behind the battle for 8th place and beyond, just behind Dablander. This is the battle for 5th, 6th and 7th, and it looked as though down into the hairpin this time around it would be a case of Poulsen finally getting up into 5th place, but Della Motta had it well and truly covered. Gap between 1st and 2nd has swung down a tiny bit, but it's still over 5 seconds, the advantage that Mikel Ascona has over Alex Morgan. Morgan running still clear of Niels Langeveld, who still has Julien Brichet right on his tail. Will the French racer Brichet make a move sometime soon? Brichet, don't forget, was fast enough to win the most recent race, the second of the 2 races at Red Bull Ring last weekend. Helped his championship cause, but 12th place in the first of the 2 races in Austria certainly didn't. So 5.176 is how far our race leader is ahead of this battle for 2nd place. Morgan does look as though he's got 2nd place under control, and as they snake their way down the hill, you can be sure that getting closer and closer to the hairpin, having gone round the hairpin now, in fact, is our race leader, Mikel Ascona. Fastest lap of the race still with Ascona set as early as lap 2. 2 minutes, 8.622 seconds. It's been a good lap for Alex Morgan. He seems to just be opening out a tiny bit of an advantage. He seems to have points on the circuit where he can pick up a bit of speed, but I think as much as anything, that's because Langeveld, there in the red and white racer, is being pushed so hard by Julien Brichet. Morgan again cuts the corner as he comes down the hill. But he doesn't unsettle the car, it just shortens the lap. Should be 5.137 kilometres. You feel it could be slightly less than that by cutting a bit here, a bit there. First part of the lap, every lap Ascona, who's just gone out of our shot, seems to have an advantage, so it takes him down to the bottom of the hill. Our race leader pulls out a bit of an advantage, then it gets cut back again by Morgan, but it looks like a better lap for our race leader. 5.17 seconds, he was clear last time around. It's going to be much the same, but 5.37, he's gained 0.2 of a second. So lap 10 of 12. Battle for 2nd, still intensifying. Battle. We finally have a change. Look, up into 5th place comes Steen Poulsen as in the backdrop. Someone goes very wide indeed. That's a battle for about 12th place. In fact, I think it was our tail ender. I think that was Sathiar Thirikal. But the point of the matter is Steen Poulsen has finally managed to get clear Facundo Della Motta. Now, will you be able to drop him? This often happens. You get someone bottled up behind someone else, you think they're running at the same speed, you get the positions reversed, and they just pull off and show precisely what they can do as they pull off into the distance. What they could have been doing all along, but for Steen Poulsen, that dreadful opening lap where he lost 2 positions, he's since then finally regained 4. Let's see what he can do. Niels Langeveld, though, just doesn't seem to have has the answers at the moment to keeping Julien Brichet out of 3rd place. Doesn't have the answers to wrestling 2nd place from Alexander Morgan. There's Morgan round the Dunlop Carer for the 10th time in racing trim. Flat out acceleration up the hill, then you've got the wonderful over the curbs on the driver's right of the circuit, turn left, over the curbs again on the apex, flick right, carry on climbing. Great section the Schumacher S's. Then you crest the hill, and then you've got the corner that's absolutely key for the run to the chicane. You've got the Bilstein curve. We've seen many drivers, particularly Morgan, cutting that corner. That's not a good exit from Julien Brichet in the background. You want to use the curves but not go over them, so he's now got a bit of dust on his tyres. Under hard acceleration, there's a little kink at the bottom of the dip. Yad van Bogen, then up to the chicane. This is a corner that's been adapted many a time. In fact, it has many different layouts according to the sort of cars that race there. For the World Endurance Championship, they run a more open chicane, but for these touring car racers who don't mind bouncing over chicanes, they don't get too badly unsettled, they have the far, far tighter circuit derivation. First and second, well, early part of the lap, it was advantage Michael Azcona. Second part of the lap, advantage Alex Morgan, but it's still more than 5 seconds, 5.265 seconds. Then comes this fantastic battle for fifth place, but now, having got clear, Steen Poulsen hasn't been able to drop Facundo Della Motta. In some ways, they both managed to drop Lucas Oruch, but the battle for fifth goes on. It's merely the places have been reversed in the last lap and a half, and for Steen Poulsen, the championship challenger, that was essential. It might have only gained him a few more points, but in the final reckoning, they could be very, very important indeed. But the big problem for Steen Poulsen was qualifying 7th. Place on the front 2 rows would have been what the doctor ordered. Down the curves, just listening to the cars. You can listen to them to go over the rumble strips, hear the engines, hear the tyres bleating away. Alex Morgan could be very pleased with his run for Wolf Power Racing. Julien Brichet's given it everything for his own team, but it's just not coming his way today. He's been able to get close to Niels Langeveld as they come out of the Dunlop hairpin. Michael Azcona is just able to drive in a relatively clean and conservative style. I'm not saying he's being slow, he's far from it. He's lapping very well indeed. In fact, faster than pretty much anybody last time around, but he's not under pressure, and he never has been. And in this 12-lap race, he's unlikely to come up on the tail of the field. And even if he does so, with the lead of 5.5 seconds, he can just choose to be careful. 5.48 seconds, that's the gap between first and second, part way around the lap. But don't forget, lap after lap, the first part of the circuit is always a bit where Azcona is very, very good indeed. And then what he gains in that is taken back, and this lap has been exactly the same. Again, Morgan fights his way back again, but the clock is ticking. In the background of shot, there's Julien Brichet running wide out of the chicane. And now we're on to the final lap for our race leader, Michael Azcona. What a start from pole position. 4.3 seconds clear at the end of the opening lap, 5.2 at the end of lap 11. Niels Langeveld in third, leading the championship by 8 points. He will be stretching that advantage because Michael Azcona, yes, he's third in the championship, will score more than Langeveld, but Langeveld is trying to eke his advantage over Poulsen. Poulsen has finally made his way up into fifth place. As you can see, everyone towards the tail of the field. That was the tail of the field, running nose to tail. Harry Baus-Coppens back in 21st position. Just starting her final lap now. 37 seconds, the gap between 37 gap between our race leader there, coming around the final lap. That's Michael Azcona. This SEAT Leon Eurocup racer has had a season of highs and lows. He took victory in the opening race at Estoril from pole position. He won the second race at Mugello from pole position. His next pole position was here at the Nürburgring, and he has nothing wrong with this race for him. He has the fastest lap of the race. He has the best opening lap of anybody in this field. SEAT Leon Eurocup, 4.3 seconds clear, and he's been able to pace it since then. He's had nobody to play with since then. He's edged his way clear. After an opening lap, he's gained a 10th here, a 10th there. He got up to 6 and a bit seconds. It's come down now to 5.2 seconds. There is the second place runner, Alex Morgan, half a lap to go. Looks so the place is safe for him. It would be his best result of the year. Frustrations for Niels Langeveld in this battle for second place. He's pushed so hard, he's had to defend mightily from Julien Brichet. But way out front, 5 and a bit seconds clear. Michael Azcona, very little left to do. Up to the chicane for the final time. No one to play with. If he looks in his mirrors now, he can see his rivals. They're so far back, he doesn't have to worry. Through the chicane, he can pick his line. He chooses a very, very neat one indeed. Just out over the curbs on the exit, as you want to be, to take the widest entry line into the 15th and final corner of the lap. 12 laps about to be completed, and win number 3 for 2016 in the SEAT Leon Eurocup goes to Michael Azcona. The season started well and it's coming back on strong. Alex Morgan, his best result of this year, in second place. And championship leader Niels Langeveld follows home in third. Julien Brichet on his tail. The next car across the start-finish line should be the driver who started today second in the championship, and so it is. Steen Poulsen some way further back, pushed very hard indeed by Facundo Della Motta. Lucas Oruch Then next in 8th place, Mario Dablanda. Car number 50 comes home in 9th place, which is Nelson Lukes, who gained a few positions there. And the top 10 completed by Laurencio Barão da Veiga. So a very, very strong run, a superlative opening lap from Mikel Azcona. And the one on the window indicates that it matches his race number, car number 1. So for the Spaniard, it's been a very, very good afternoon's work at the Nürburgring. He's got to do it all over again tomorrow, but the important thing, he's taken the full helping of points, and behind him Alex Morgan will be delighted with battling his way through to 2nd place. Steen Poulsen back in 5th, has lost ground in the championship, and for our championship leader, that was lost limitation in finishing 3rd. He would have loved to have got into 2nd place, but for Niels Langeveld, for now, the points for 3rd position will have to suit him. And for Julien Brichet, he tried really, really hard. No win today for the Frenchman. But there are our top 4 coming around the track, and there is the result. 5.2 seconds was the gap at the end of the final lap. Mikel Azcona led all the way. Alexander Morgan taking his best result of the year in 2nd place. Championship leader Niels Langeveld in the heart of the action, but it was damage limitation, particularly because Steen Poulsen finished 2 places further back behind Julien Brichet in 5th place. Frustrating afternoon for the Norwegian. Facundo Della Motta kept Poulsen behind him for quite some while, but comes home in 6th place. 14 drivers started the race, and all 14 came home, with Mary Baus-Coppens 40 seconds, all but precisely, behind after 12 laps. But today, as the clouds gather again over the Nürburgring, the first of 2 SEAT Leon Eurocup races here this weekend in the Eiffel Forest, it was all belonging to Mikel Azcona. A very, very strong drive for the Spaniard. So the drivers bring it round. There's Mary Baus-Coppens at the end of the field, coming back to the paddock, but the driver with the biggest smile on his face won't be the driver of car 34. That's Steen Poulsen, champion 2 years ago. Sorry, he was 2nd last year, but for him it will be frustrating that he got stuck in the traffic, that he qualified badly, got stuck in the traffic, lost ground, regained ground, and the driver, probably almost as happy as our race winner, will be Alex Morgan in 2nd place. Steen Poulsen has lost ground in the championship, his challenge of Niels Langeveld, but Mikel Azcona has come bounding forward, so it should make it even closer at the top of the table. In comes the field. Julien Brichet won't be required beneath the podium. They can be flagged through the garage before the Parc Fermé, waiting for the top 3 to come in. The first of them to make it back to the finish at Parc Fermé is Alex Morgan, pulling in. Niels Langeveld, championship leader, pulls in from 3rd. And the white SEAT Leon in the background with the black flashes on the wings, driven superbly by Mikel Azcona, has pride of place. Pulling into the middle position, he no doubt will be a very, very happy Spaniard indeed. So he comes to a pause, has a chance to think. The pit lane buzzer in the background as the second half of the field all come into the pit entry, past the control tower and turn right through one of the pit garages. But let's take a look at the face of Mikel Azcona. Unfolds himself from the car. Yeah, that says it all. That was an incredible race. I can't think of many races where in a one-make championship as competitive as the SEAT Leon Eurocup, where someone without an accident behind is 4.3 seconds clear at the end of the opening lap. Quite astonishing. And then he drove beautifully thereafter to preserve that amazing cushion he gained on the opening lap. Handshakes all round. Great feeling when you've not just taken victory, but done it just so comprehensively. It was a textbook drive from Mikel Azcona. So he started the season with a win and must have thought, this is going to be my year. He's had one more win since, and he's had 4 second places. But for the young racer from Spain, that was probably his best win yet. And what an opening lap. Behind him, Alex Morgan doing his hair, helmet off. And in the background, we'll have Niels Langeveld as well. But Saturday at the Nürburgring in the SEAT Leon Eurocup belongs to one man and one man only. That is Mikel Azcona. What a victory. 5.2 seconds clear, but he simply didn't have to push that hard, because once he's had that amazing opening lap, he could just keep his eye on his mirrors, keep his head down, wasn't challenged, because everybody else behind him was fighting, and he alone ran it like a sprint. So, let's find out the thoughts of the winner, Mikel Azcona.
Congratulations, number one for car number one.
Yes, it was fantastic race. At the moment, fantastic weekend for us. We are working really hard to go to win the championship, and this is very good for us.
Well done.
Thank
Go
you.
get your podium.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dakota. And that was, well, the smile says it all. That was not just a win, that was a big win at this stage in the championship. When everyone's on top of their cars, to produce that performance suggests a driver who's got a real handle, not just of his car, but also his car here at the Nürburgring. So Mikel Azcona walks away. You can sort of see the tension coming out of those shoulders. And a man hugely pleased with his afternoon's activity. And it's good to see second and third. That's Alex Morgan on the left and Niels Langeveld, who's championship leader. So, what a race that was if your name was Mikel Azcona. So let's have a look at the highlights. Down to the first corner, Mikel Azcona from pole position got into the lead of the race. Niels Langeveld very close behind. Mario Dablander tried to go around the outside. You can see the yellow flanks on Alex Morgan's car. He was to gain positions. And several lost out. Julien Brichet getting pushed a little bit wide. Dablander with the grey nose up into second place. Alex Morgan in third, and Niels Langeveld challenging for the championship but losing ground, and that was to haunt him. Not as much as it haunted Steen Poulsen, because he lost ground on the opening lap. Number 11 went for a run. That was Munkong Thathiathiriakul. Then behind, this is what we call missing the tyre wall, but only just down at turn 1. And then this battle for second place really mounted. You could see Langeveld bouncing off the curbs, going wide, getting it up in the air and down again. But the chase for Steen Poulsen, he had to get past Facundo Della Motta. It was only a battle for 5th place. And the driver with the yellow wing mirrors, a championship challenger no less, second on points before the start of the race. Look left, look right, and finally he got past the Argentinian. Someone in the background deciding to do a spot of gravel running. But second place, best result of the year so far, went to Alex Morgan. He finally escaped the challenges of Niels Langeveld as Julien Brichet kept on pushing. Second, third and fourth, but where was the race leader? Mikel Azcona was at least 5 seconds up the track ahead of them. They could do nothing about him. They fought tooth and nail among themselves. But it didn't all come off for any of them. But second place was held down very well indeed. Ooh, running wide off the circuit, but a driver who never went wide at all, Mikel Azcona. A beautiful, exemplary run on after an astonishing opening lap. Gave him a 4.3 second advantage. He kept it at about 5 or 6 laps for the remainder of the race. Super tidy run. Is he challenging his championship charge? Is he timing it just right for the end of the season? But certainly that was a brilliant drive. No mistakes at all. And therefore, Julie, the 5 second advantage was maintained by Mikel Azcona. Delighted in second place, Alex Morgan. Championship leader Niels Langeveld tucked in behind in third, and Julien Brichet in fourth. But today belonged to Mikel Azcona. 14 cars made a very good race, and there is the result. Mikel Azcona by 5.2 seconds from Alex Morgan. Niels Langeveld tucked in behind in third, keeping his championship challenge on the charge. Julien Brichet, 5th in the championship, effectively out of the running, but showed he can run right with the front runners. And Steen Poulsen, 2nd in the championship, coming home in 5th place. Niels Langeveld, 3rd place today, first driver out onto the podium for the SEAT Leon Eurocup here at the Nürburgring. Followed out by Alex Morgan, the British racer. That's his best results this year, 2nd place. But the driver who deserves all the accolades, you can hear the cheers for Mikel Azcona. Started his number 1 from pole. Number 1 was his position every lap, and that is his 3rd win of 2016 in the SEAT Leon Eurocup. So the Spanish national anthem. The 4th driver on the podium is our top place female racer, Mary Baus Coppens, who pops her cap on along with everybody else. Just waiting for the trophies, and for Mikel Azcona, he should be the 3rd one to receive his trophy. Handshakes all round. And the first of the 3 trophies to Niels Langeveld started as championship leader, but that gap will be coming down with maximum points going to the driver about to get his trophy. Alex Morgan waving his, but to that driver, Mikel Ascona, charging up the order. And big hugs. Feeling of satisfaction, of course, but don't forget, it's a two-header, it's double-header weekend, so they've got to do it all again tomorrow, and Mikel Ascona would very much like to do that all over again tomorrow. Differing degrees of smiles, it's easy to spot the winner. He's the one with the biggest smile in the middle of the picture. And time for a little spray. Who's a dab hand? You'd have thought as championship leader, Niels Langeveld would be fastest with the spray. Looks so Alex Morgan. He's had third places. That's a second. Can he rise in the remaining races of this series? SEAT Leon Eurocup to take a win before the year is out. But certainly Mikel Ascona has shown a new level of racing. And what an astonishing opening lap that was. So, a great race. Maximum points for Mikel Ascona. Niels Langeveld kept his championship challenge well and truly on the ball with third place, but Steen Poulsen, second before the start of the race, ended up down in fifth place, and that's made his championship challenge all the harder. That's it for now for the SEAT Leon Eurocup.